All right, everybody, thanks for joining us. We're here with Andreas, who actually just closed his first ever Novation deal, which we're going to talk about in just a moment. But Andres, for the people that don't know you, why don't you give us like a little rundown, where you're from, what it is that you've been up to, and kind of how you got into real estate?
Yes, sir. I was born and raised in Arizona, actually a border town, Nogales, Arizona. Grew out in the state. Kind of dug into a lot of jobs growing up. 28 now. Now I'm a full on 40-hour work week, sometimes 60, electrician. That's my main income. So I do that as my daily income job. But how I got into real estate is actually about a year ago, year and a half ago, I got into real estate uh, doing flips. So I got a couple of flips under my belt, and how I kind of cross paths to you is I essentially was looking at who's doing um, wholesale at a at a rate that I can, inspire to achieve. And I so happen to see one of your videos on YouTube, and I stumbled upon Novations. And you know what? I'm gonna like, because I was doing wholesale for a little bit too, but I wasn't really seeing the fruit quite yet. And I ended up joining your course. I ended up going through the modules, and I applied those same modules that you have in your course in integrated them into my calls. And it ended up being a game changer for my business, whereas I was actually getting people to either one, hang up on the phone with me, two, they didn't end up signing, or they didn't closing at the end of the day, to my uh rate of contacts, my rate of people getting signed under contract pretty much doubled
Wow,
from the time that I started taking your course.
that's awesome, man. What were like some tidbits that were helpful for you? Was there like one or two key things that you felt like kind of flipped the script on it?
Yes, one of the biggest things is setting up a follow-up call. And doing that pretty much left the client in a standstill of like, okay, like I'm gonna be getting an offer, a legit offer. I have these people, who are gonna be um taking their due diligence and their time to actually figure out what they can pay for my property. And instead of, putting them on hold and then getting back on the line, making an offer, it pretty much was a 9-day difference as far as my lead flow and my sales flow. So I do that pretty regularly. I actually have two calls after this meeting that I scheduled doing that same method.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so I really do see that pretty much 9 day. So that's one of the biggest things that I kind of like got, was just setting up follow calls, using the anchor system, using all the phases in the sales process to from A to Z, and making sure like the actual flow of the conversation, actually flows to someone either signing a contract, then in that phone call, or setting up a follow-up call.
Okay, so having some framework, and sounds like before you're kind of like shooting from the hip, where you were like, I got him on the phone. Let me try to close this right now. If I hang up, I may never talk to them again. Kind of that. Because I've heard other people say that, right? But it's like
Yeah.
when you were able to control the conversation and build that trust and build that relationship with them, they want to talk to you again, and they're like looking forward to your call. And did that give you some time to kind of slow things down and look at the numbers and get everything situated?
Yeah, I think the main focus of that is that the actual calls are flowing a lot better, and the foundation of my calls were a lot more concrete.
Nice.
Whereas I was getting most of my information on YouTube, and I watched all the so-called gurus that are out there that kind of have their own way of, getting people on the phones and and learning their sales strategy, but yours was the most efficient in my opinion. So that's why I applied it. Um, and it was very thought of, and the fruit speaks for itself, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Because so I heard from a little birdie that you just closed like an $18,000 deal. Is that right?
That actually is I have the actual number here.
Yeah, don't let me sell you short now. Let's do it.
You're good, man. I just want to make sure for the record, the exact amount that I got for the deal. Um, so it was $19,337.
Oh,
Yes,
let's
sir.
go. And was is that your biggest deal to date? Or is that your first deal, or have you gotten other wholesale deals?
I have gotten other wholesale deals, but that was
Okay.
my first actual novation from
Nice.
start to close.
$19,000 and some change, man. I don't
Yes,
care who
sir.
you are. That's a good payday, man.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely has pretty much steered my eyesight on what is possible in this industry, what is possible in real estate. Whereas when I was doing flips, it was pretty much astronomical the amount of money that you can make in this game, and just being able to understand how it all works, ultimately got me to where I'm at right now, and I'm just living by example, man.
That's awesome, brother. Can you give the people like a little rundown? Like, was it a PPL lead, or how did the lead come in? What was their situation?
Yeah, so you're gonna like this one. So I kind of went not too deep into how to get these leads because at first I was calling Zillow leads, right? Everyone either at first doesn't know where to start, so they just call Zillow leads, and you can get lucky, but most of the time it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
Um, but I ended up diving into PPL, and I ended up getting on two programs. One was iSpeed to Lead, and another was LeadZolo. And I was kind of putting some money in LeadZolo, putting some money in iSpeed to Lead. And I believe out of like the whole investment in I started in April doing wholesale. From April now, I've only spent not even $800 on lead generation.
Oh, wow.
And out of the $800, I've pretty much got the money back and some, you know what I mean?
I'd say
But
so.
yeah, and the lead itself was a lead from LeadZolo that I had picked up off the marketplace there. And it was one of those ones where you had to make like a little bid, and you got it for a certain amount if no one bought it before the time ran out for the day. And I ended up getting the lead for only $5.
That's a
And
ROI for sure.
yeah, so I ended up getting that lead for $5, and 4 months I believe it was 4 or 5 months was the length of the from getting the client under contract, getting it on the market, getting it all ready to go, and then finding a buyer, and then by finding the buyer, it took about 5 months for the whole thing.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's a little bit longer than usual. What was there some delays, or it took a while to
Yeah,
find the
so
buyer, or what?
Yeah, so first, the real estate agent, I didn't use a flat fee because I know I watched your videos on them. I know that they can be good at certain times, but most of the time you're better off getting a local real estate agent who knows the market, who knows pretty much what they're doing. So I did do a lot of research in that area. This was a deal in North Carolina, and um, by the way, hot market. I talked to many wholesalers, and they have nothing but good things to say about North Carolina and wholesaling in that state.
Oh yeah, yeah. We got a couple in there right now.
Yeah,
We've got some deals in North Carolina. Yep.
yeah, such a great market, and I only stumbled upon it. Um, I believe it was one of the guys I watch on YouTube said that there was like 7 states where there's just like you're always gonna have a deal, and it was like North Carolina, Florida, Texas, and I forgot the other ones. But when I looked into North Carolina and I started really heavily advertising and getting into that space, and yeah, that's how I got that lead, was through the LeadZolo and picking it out of North Carolina. Now I didn't know anything. I didn't know it was in Oxford, North Carolina. I didn't know where that was. I didn't know who could help me in getting a local real estate agent. So I really believe that it was ultimately God that was able to let me find this real estate agent. And I was praying about it, and I was trying to figure out like, okay, like, what do you want me to do here? I don't know where to start with this. I got the lead under contract, you know what I mean, and I got it under contract. Now how do I get it to the closing table? And so I re I really dug deep into your course, and really spent hours on hours on hours just like for trying to perfect the craft, and just studying and studying and studying. And I remember, going on Google and looking up North Carolina real estate agents and just calling them. I just started calling, and most of them didn't know what Novation was. They didn't know, or they knew about it and they had a bad experience, or they knew about it and they just didn't want to do it. But then I got one real estate agent who has done Novations before, so she was fluent in the area of Novation, and so that kind of gave me confidence to go with her. And she was great. Once I got her on the deal, she was able to kind of facilitate all the transaction paperwork. She had a TC in her firm, and really it was just a matter of just finding a buyer. And ultimately, the reason why it took so long was we ended up one, it took about 2 months to find a buyer.
Hmm.
So we found a buyer. It took about 2 months. We started at like $215,000 was the asking price. And then we ended up dropping the price down a couple times, ultimately getting under contract at 195,000 with a buyer.
Okay.
So dropped significantly. I would have made a lot more on the deal if we sold it at the 215, but I structured the deal to where even if we went lower, I would have still walked out and made some money. So really practical, thing to do is to always make sure that you're pricing it right. In case you do have to drop on the price, you still can walk away with something, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, you make your money by negotiating it low, not by selling it high. You
Yeah,
want to
exactly.
buy low, sell low, in and out for sure.
Yes. Yes. So I do believe that's what helped us get it under contract a little bit faster, was price dropping in. And I just kept telling my agent, okay, we need to go down 5,000. She's like, no, let's wait another week. I was like, all right, we'll wait another week. And then we just kind of kept dropping it and dropping it. Once we got to like the 195,000 area, we started getting more showings.
Yeah.
And that's when we were like, okay, I think we got the price. I think we're gonna get under contract. And I believe it was like 3 weeks later we got under contract. Now the only contingency was that the buyer had to sell their house. And
Oh.
so that was kind of like, okay. And then there was another buyer. There's two buyers who wanted the house, which is funny. Two buyers wanted the house. They were kind of having not a bidding war over the house, but one had a FHA loan, and then one had a conventional loan. And I remember messaging you, and I was asking you about it. Remember?
Yep.
I was telling you, hey, like what should I do? I have an FHA loan, and you said, if you do a conventional, you're gonna have a lot more breathing room on repairs, and you could do credits. And then if you do FHA, it's a lot harder to do that. And so you recommended going conventional.
All right, you just pointed at me right here.
Okay.
All right. Hey, appreciate you tuning in, but look, let's take some action. Let's make some money together. NovationKing.com. Learn the same blueprint Andres used to get his first Novation working at 9 to 5, and that I use with my team, the number one Novation JV team on planet Earth. But yeah, NovationKing.com to learn the process. Easy. And then NovationJV.com to send us your motivation leads. Back to the show. Let's go.
I do believe that saved me, because that same FHA buyer ended up backing out. She would have just ended up kind of screwing me over if I said no to the conventional. But you want to know the funny thing? I went with the FHA, and she ghosted me the day that we were supposed to get stuff signed, and the conventional buyer was like, "Hey, I'm still interested. Like, I want to buy the house."
Wow.
And she really liked it. It was a pretty nice house. It was on 2.2 acres of land in North Carolina. It had a really nice maintained grass, really nice house. It was on a manufactured home. And so all the bullets checked out for this lady who wanted the house, and she was really fixated about these cats. That my client had like statued cats, these pearlescent cats. I guess she was like some sort of like shelter lady who wanted to kind of make the place into like a sanctuary for like animals or something like that, for like animals that are like wounded or sheltered animals,
Oh wow.
something like that. And so she wanted these porcelain cats. Is what my client was telling me. Hey, this lady, she really wants this house. And I was like, all right, well, she's really our only buyer. So we ended up going under contract with her. But we had to wait on her house to get sold. And she had a really nice house in a really nice area near Raleigh, North Carolina. And it took about like a month, like almost a month and a half to sell her house. And um, that was really it shouldn't have taken that long. And the reason why I know that is because it wasn't priced right at the beginning. They were pricing it way too high, and my real estate agent was like, "Hey, you need to drop this price down. Trust me, I know this market. This is a buyer's market. You can't ask for top dollar right now. You need to lower your price."
After she was telling you not to drop it, she's telling them to drop. That's funny though. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny how that worked out. But yeah, she dropped the price. Thanks to my real estate agent who was like heckling her to drop the price down because we needed to get this deal done. I mean, we have my client who's like, hey, like I'm supposed to get this all said and done within 90 days. This is kind
Wow.
of like this is pushing it.
Wow.
But he was a great client. Spoke to him the entire time. Very, very, very great communication on everything on my end. I made sure he was on the know of everything. He not once ever did not have a question that I couldn't answer. And if I didn't know how to answer it, I just referred him to my real estate agent. That's why it's so important to have a really good real estate agent. Because a lot of like the wording and the verbiage and how that part of the transaction can be handled by them leaves less stress for you.
Absolutely. Man, the right ones, and if you know how to communicate with them, they take so much work off your plate, and it allows you to do a lot more deals at once too. So,
Yes.
dude, that's fantastic. Now tell me, the day before it was going to close, what was
Yeah.
going through your mind? Was it real? Were you wondering, is this money really going to hit? What's going to happen? Because you
I'm
already
I'm gonna raise my hand. I
everything
did
went
have a
off.
little you know,
Hmm.
I believe in Christ, man, and he says that you need to have faith, and a lot of the doubt was kind of pouring into me the day before. I was telling my wife this, you know, with me trusting God and trusting his power and what he can do in my life. I was really, really like, okay, I know I did everything I could, but I still had that little seed of doubt. Is this really gonna happen? Like, I know I everything was signed. The sellers signed everything that he needed signed. Now I know that the buyers needs to sign hers. So I was like, God, like, if this is like your will, like it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and if this is your will, like it's gonna happen, and I know I'm doing the right thing, and I know I'm headed into something amazing. And there was that little bit of seed of doubt, but then the next day at I think it was I just got done eating lunch, and I'm like, man, I should get this wire already. I mean, I'm not seeing this wire pull in, and what's going on? Was something happening? And I just easy, like you're gonna be okay. And literally like 30 minutes later, I get a little bloop, like a little confirmation pop up on my phone, and it says wire received. And
Yes.
I was like, all right, this is real. This is not a gimmick. This is not, this is not some scheme, some scam, some, pyramid schemes, whatever, this is not that. This is legit and this is real and this is real money that's in my account right now. And I was just like, I was like, man, thank you, God, you
Yeah.
know?
Ain't it crazy? Like when you see a big wire hit and it just comes in like a text message, which is like blink. It's like, oh, that was easy. And you're like, man, I
Yeah,
remember trying to scrape together $5 in gas, you know what I mean? Or do we pay
yeah,
electric bill? Do we buy groceries? Do we pay rent? Which bill do we pay? Which bill do we put off? And then when
yep,
those big ones hit, you're like, what? It almost like hurts a little bit. It was like, man, it was so hard. And it just like, you're just gonna drop 50 grand or whatever in my account like that, and it's just there, and I just go up, what?
yep.
Crazy, man. What did your wife have to say, bro? Because she's seen you suffer, seen you stressing out about this. I mean, you bought into another course, you bought into this course, you're working 60 hours a week some weeks. What was her thoughts on it?
Grateful, proud, proud um that I didn't give up, proud that I said I was gonna do it and I did it. So she's proud, she's proud, and you know, that word hasn't shown more than anything else than it is right now, where we're in this very moment. I believe I'm walking in the calling that God has put me in, and she's supportive, and she's just like you did it, you freaking did
I love that for you, man. That's great, dude. Feels so
it.
good, Dan. That's what I always love when a check hits or when I first started pulling it off, like seeing my wife like genuinely excited for me and like rooting, like that's my man, like rooting me on. Like she loved me when I was selling vacuums and just making a normal living, but like she like knew, you know what I mean? It's like they're
Yeah.
rooting for you, you know, and it feels really good when you pull through and you're like, yeah, I did that, baby. That's right. That's, don't you forget that. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
That's
no, it was.
awesome.
Yeah, it's surreal, man, and it's we're just so thankful for the Lord and what He's doing, and just continue to trust Him. And now that it works. If anyone's watching this video, this works. It's not. It all depends on how bad you want it. It all depends on how bad you really want to get to this point and close your deals and close your first deal. I remember when I got my first one back in, I believe it was February, and it was just a wholesale. But this this process of getting this one outweighed that because I learned so much. And it wasn't something that I take for granted. I don't take any of this for granted. I don't take your help for granted. I don't take your course for granted. I don't take this whole conversation right now we're having for granted. And I do believe that it was because, I ultimately decided that, what are you willing to do to get the life you want? And I know what the life I want, and I know what it's going to take. And I'm just thankful for the ride, for being here, for talking to you, and this is many, many more ahead of me.
Love that, bro. I love that. So is your goal then to set up some systems and what, maybe get a couple more deals under your belt,
Yep,
stack up your war chest, and then go all in and quit the 9 to 5 and go all
of
in on
course. Yes, and I always tell I name my company Kairos Estates. In the Greek, Kairos is the definition of it. I'll let you know why I picked it. And it means a lot to me because I'm really big on doing things the God way. And Kairos means God's divinely appointed, opportune, or critical moment rather than measured chronicle time of Chronos. Basically means it's God's timing.
Mm.
So I named it God's timing because it's really God's timing. All of this is God's timing, and I'm walking in it. I'm walking in the fruit of it. And I just believe that now that I've got this one done, it's applying systems, applying the. I know you dropped 4.0. reading the new material on there and getting that and applying that. But you can only learn so much. You just got to do it, and that's why I keep telling myself, like, I got to do it. I just got to continue to make more calls. And it's kind of hard with a 60-hour work week, but I know I got this one done. I just got to continue to focus on making the systems a lot better in my business. Obviously putting some more money into leads and generating that flow of like, okay, I need to make two more, three more, four more, five more, six more, whatever more to get to the opportunity of saying, you know what, I think it's time to, leave the workforce, the 9 to 5 and go all in, you know. So I'm
Dude,
work I'm working towards that, and every single day that I chip at that is a day closer, and I know I'm getting there.
I love that. I love that. Well, I just want to encourage you, bro. This deal, trust me, the people that don't have it in them, they never get to where you got to. They give up before that. So I would just encourage you, man, keep your studying, keep your activity. Spending money on leads too is like an act of faith because it's like, but this is my money. Like, I don't want to give my money because these leads may not be good, but like, I
Mhm.
heard you say 800, and I'm like, dude, I spent like $800 yesterday on leads. Like, what the heck?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
jealous. You know what I mean? Like, that's awesome that you
yeah,
pulled that off. Like, you're probably strategically going in there and sniping off the cheap ones and everything too. But that's killer, man. That's killer. I
yeah.
can't wait to hear back from you, 6 months or a year from now, once you've pulled it off and you're going full speed on the wholesaling.
hmm
That's going to be amazing, bro. So much love, dude. I love how you share your faith too. I think that's beautiful. The way, it says in the Bible, I don't know the exact verse, but it's like when you're working for man in the world, you need to work as if you're working for God. You know what I mean?
Amen.
And that's one thing
Yeah.
I love is you can be transparent with people with this process. You can tell the truth. You can truly serve them and
Mhm.
make great money and have it be a win-win for everybody. So that's beautiful, man.
Yeah,
Well,
that verse you're actually just referred to is Colossians 3:23. It says, "Whatever you do, work it all with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ you are serving."
I love that.
So
Love
yeah, I
that,
mean
man.
that do anything that you do work wise unto the Lord, and He'll bless it. And I know that He did that with you. He's doing that with me, and He's doing that to those who are putting Him first, right? That's a big thing for me is that just putting God first into my business and keeping Him at the forefront of everything, right? I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Him, and I wouldn't have gotten this far if it wasn't for Him. So I owe Jesus Christ all the glory, all the praise, and I'm just thankful, man.
Love that. So I've got two parting questions here, then I'll let you go because I know you got some work to do. But my first question is what was some advice that you wish you knew early on that would have helped you get here quicker? That's number one. And then number two is what advice do you think the you from 1 year from now would give the you right now? So start with
Mm.
this one. Advice that you wish you knew first.
Yeah, so advice that I wish I knew first was it, getting to where I'm at now, right? Required a lot of faith. And the proponent question that I would ask, that I would want to have known in the beginning in starting all this, is that I have nothing to lose, but all to gain. And really, if I can if I can learn to do something before I started this, it would be just trusting in that I can get here a lot quicker than I have. Because I said it's the doubt, man. It comes, it creeps in. No one, no, you can have a hard life. You can choose the hard you want to have. You can either have a hard life, always kicking up rocks, living a miserable life. That's hard. Or you can have a hard life and trying to acquire that life you want, doing the hard work that needs to be done, going through the trials and tribulation. It's hard. They're both same hard, but one hard is better than the other. Amen.
Got an
So
upside. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I believe that that first proposing thing I would have asked myself is just trust that you can do it. And going back, I would just have cut the noise of all the naysayers in my life and go straight into the full vision that God has given me. And I that's the first one.
Love that. So you would have gone harder, faster, pushed the doubts aside, and ran right into the problem, basically, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. And then
yeah.
what do you think you from a year from now, what advice do you think you would be giving yourself? I know this is a strange one, but
No, this is awesome. I love these type of questions. It makes you think. Just don't give up, you know. Um, you got one down, you can get 100 more. And if, I saw a picture and whoever's watching this video, I saw a picture of it was two gold miners. They were all picking at the same time. Everyone's probably seen this picture. One of them was, picking at it, and the tunnel was like this long, and the second tunnel was like the same length. Well, the top picture, he stops the pick and he walks back. The second picture, he's about to hit, and behind that picture is all this gold, right? All this gold. The moral of the story is don't give up, keep picking at it, keep going for it, and keep doing it, and you're going to get to where you want to get to.
yeah, man, that's like Think and Grow Rich, the guy that stopped, I think it was 3 feet from gold or something. Yeah, I love that, bro. Well,
Yeah.
awesome, man. Well, I think I'll answer the second one for you. I think that you, a year from now, that's pulled it off and is wholesaling full time, I think he would give you the same advice that the you now would have given the you 6 months or a year ago. So I just
Mm,
want to encourage you, bro. Let me be a light in your life any way I can. I want to see you go in all on it. You know what I mean? You
hmm
made some bread too. So now you're playing with some house money. Let's
hmm
get another 2, 3 deals in the pipeline. You know what I
Yes, sir.
mean? And let's
Yes,
get
sir.
some big ones like this, and then you can be really just, get the machine going and go all in, man. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, I appreciate it. And then if there's anyone who's like watching this video, just want to just give a lot of my honoring to this man right here, Rich. He's helped me out a lot, and this deal probably I'm gonna say there's probably 3 or 4 times it could have just went bad, terrible. The whole thing with the contract and signing it with my name. And you're not supposed to do that, bro. You're supposed to have the seller sign the offer, not you. And so I'm just like, oh man, am I gonna is this gonna shamble? Thankfully, God had other plans and it didn't. But I'm just thankful for that advice that you gave me, and who's ever, considering getting this man's mentorship. I highly esteem this man, and I'm thankful for it. Thank you for your help, brother, and I can't wait to be at that table. You know what I mean?
yeah,
The table of success.
love that, brother. Well, I appreciate you, man. Well, definitely have a great night, bro. And anything you
Yes,
need,
sir.
you already know. You can reach out
Yeah.
anytime, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Have a blessed night.
Cool. Yeah, you too, man. Hey, thanks for tuning in and staying till the end. Make sure to give me a follow on Instagram if you're not, at Novation King. Don't forget about novationjv.com to send your motivated seller leads for us to lock up, and novationking.com to join the #1 Novation community in the world. So have a great one. We'll see you on the next one.